Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Heather and today I'm going to talk about my TED Talk assignment, and the topic that I chose is very close to my heart because it is related towards the people of color, as I myself am a person of color. Um, my topic is how police in Toronto target black people and use violence against them. It has become like everyday thing for the people in Toronto. Like the situation turns into a life or death situation. The story that started my reflection, I would like to go over here where I want to talk about an incident that took place in 2023, Devon Fulvin, near Black Creek Drive. He was a homeless guy living with mental health struggles and holding a very small knife with him and not threatening anyone. And within second, police arrives, and then a senior officer yells, "Shoot him! Shoot him!" And the guy started running. Constable Andrew Davis shot 2 bullets, and the moment captured on police body cam video describes David 2024's article, and Catherine McDonald's article as well, that was shown in the Global News report. It shows that exactly how violence and race intersect in Toronto police. Like they use violence so casually, so naturally that it feels like it's not even a crime. Constant, like for example, I also want to highlight over here that Constable Davis later pleaded guilty for the assault causing bodily harm and careless use of firearm. But even after all of that, he was suspended only with pay. So Devon survived, but with injuries that were permanent. When I read that, I didn't just feel sad about it. I felt like this is so wrong and so unjust. I felt so scared also because I have two boys. Um, we are people of color. I'm a brown person, and my kids are a bit dark, and they could resemble to black people too. So it really scares me that how things can escalate within microseconds unprovoked. The pattern behind the story, let's focus on that, because this is not about one bad decision or one bad apple. This is about a system that reacts to the black presence as danger, even when the situation calls for empathy. Like I studied in Professor Floor's class about the Nikki Jones article about regular routine that described how proactive policing it turns into a constant surveillance for people. Like it's a normal rhythm to frisk people, to keep stopping them here and there, to keep checking them. Like it's a regular routine. It's not a rare event, but it becomes like a daily regular routine, and people try to avoid by changing their routes they see, and they try to avoid the police at all costs because it's very humiliating. And Victor Roy's article also reminds me about that, about the youth control complex that was in which schools, courts, and police and community came together and created a youth control complex where black and Latino boys were put. It's like pushing the boys into that system. It's not just about catching crime, it's about controlling identity. It's like your color, you are a criminal because of your color. It's just not about catching crime. When I read the Royce article, I thought about Toronto black youth who live under the same invisible supervision at all times. It's just a different city, but the same storyline. We could call that. What research tells us, I want to focus on that now. When I looked into the peer-reviewed articles by Joseph Mensah and their colleagues, it proves that this isn't only an American problem. It's their study on racial discrimination in Canadian criminal justice system shows that black people in Toronto are 8 times more likely to be fatally shot by police. This is very alarming and very concerning, and it has to be taken seriously because 8 times. I mean, you have to think about it. And Mensah and his co-authors also argue in another article that this happens because racism is built right into the policies, not just actions. They write that anti-black racism by police boomerangs to hurt us all because every act of injustice damages public trust. In other words, when one community can't feel safe calling the police, no one is truly safe, because when what's the point if you call the police and you're as a result of that you are shot instead. I'm a black man, the human voice behind the data that shows. Um, I want to focus on this because the number tells us the part of the story, but the emotion comes through the voices. I'm a black man hit me really hard. The author writes about walking through the life with intelligence, ambition, and fear. I mean, imagine trying to live a life, but you are under constant pressure. You have intelligence, you're ambitious, but you're still having fear that today I could suddenly end. I'm not safe because I could be suspected because of my color. I'm a person of color, so even if I'm driving, anybody would randomly stop me and start frisking me or taser me or shoot me because I have a color. I mean, reading that, I thought that about how many people in Toronto wake up every day with that same burden. It reminds me the police violence doesn't begin with bullets. It begins with assumptions. With you, as they assume the worst out of the black people. If you are black, you are a criminal. If you are a black, you are the person who steals. You are the one going to shoplift. You are the one who's going to be assaulting someone. You are definitely a drug addict. So you are a gangster. You are a hood. You belong to the hood. It's like the assumption is basically the weapon that works against the people of color, especially the black community. And now let's turn the angle from theory to real life, and that's exactly where I'm going to focus now towards Devon's case, because when Constable Richard shouted shoot him and Davis obeyed, and that wasn't just panic, it was training and culture colliding. I mean, they're built on like kind of dominance but not dialogue. They knew that the person was running, they have to shoot him in order to stop him. They could have tasered him, they could have stopped him some other type of way, but shooting someone after tasering them, the person is saying that I'm not doing anything. They're trying to de-escalate. Instead of de-escalating the situation and trying to understand what's going on, you just decide that it's okay to shoot someone. This is so bad. It's like McDonald's reporting made it even clearer. Devon wasn't charging at anyone. He was backing away. He was saying that he was in crisis. He was not combating anyone. And this is what Manish meant when he was saying the systematic racism is a boomerang. Like it keeps going and coming back. Then it goes and come back. Like it keeps losing the public trust. And the loss of trust makes every future encounter even worse for the people who are outside and they feel in danger at all times. Now, I want to focus on my personal reflection over this, because if I want to take a step back, being a brown person, I'm not a black person, but I want to put myself in a black person's shoes. As someone who has lived through trauma and seen abuse happen to myself, and I have lived with an abuser, and I know abusers usually carry power. When we put that power into police hands and they have the power to abuse and they know how, I mean, trauma rewires your body and power also rewires your body and mind. It makes you quiet, compliant, just to stay safe. When a person is going through a lot of trauma, they try to stay silent. They try to I just want to live one more day without we're getting into trouble. They live by the day. That's what the black community does. They live by the day. When I think about black families in Toronto teaching their kids how to survive when the police stop you, like keep your hands visible, don't argue, don't move suddenly. I made the note of this thing because it's so traumatizing for a parent to say, as myself, I'm a parent, and if I say to my son, when you see a police officer, keep your hands visible, don't move suddenly, they will think that you're having a gun or something, they'll shoot you. Think about how unnatural it is that they're not talking about safety. They're talking about survival, how to survive the police if they come. I've sat with survivors who told me they don't hate the police, they just fear the police. They said, we just want to be treated like we matter. We just want to be treated like we are humans. And it is not that big of a deal. You should not be begging to be treated like a human. And if you look at the bigger picture, like Royce calls governing to the crime, I mean, Royce articles is very eye-opening. When you, instead of solving the social problems, poverty, homelessness, mental health, the state uses police to manage them. It's so unfortunate that what happened with Devin Foreman, and he didn't even need a gun pointed at him. He needed someone to just help him out in that situation. Someone trained to de-escalate, educated, somebody educated in mental health field. Police needs this kind of training, definitely needs this kind of training to be able to understand what are mental health needs of the people. Jones' concept of proactive policing and Royce youth control complex merge right here in our own city. The police act first and reflect later, and this is not the way that it's supposed to be. Police should think first and act later. In fact, they act first and then they reflect later, and the people most affected rarely get a chance to tell their side because they're killed or shot. And what can change? Now let's focus on that. So what do we do with all of this? The first question is that researchers have mentioned that especially Mensa offer some answers. They call for the transparent race-based data collection so we can actually track police behavior. They push for community-led mental health response teams, not armed officers. And they argue for representation, not more black officers in decision-making roles, not just patrol cars. But I think change also starts at the level of emotion and empathy. So what do I believe? I believe that system needs to change. Laws need to change. Trainings need to change. Mental health specialists and professionals need to be introduced in the field of policing. Every team should carry a mental health professional with them so that they could de-escalate the situations when encounters like this happen with black people. And I pray that these policies come into place, are implemented, and these training become common for the people so that black people would feel safe in the city of Toronto. Thank you so very much. Have a great day.